What is going on, everybody? Jumbo Thick here, back from our break with episode 15 of our Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th edition. Last we left off, our band of adventurers found themselves invited to a gathering after they had rescued two fair maidens of Nippon, of the local village that they are currently staying at. They were kept under lock and key throughout the day by the village elder. They experienced some new food, some new culture, danced, drank, made merry, and then towards the end of the night, when Seamus all but thought he had it in the bag, unceremoniously were drugged, perhaps? Poisoned? I don't know yet. One of the above, and found themselves face down, losing consciousness on the floor of the local elder's house. Does that sound about right to you guys?
Unfortunately.
Yes, it sounds right to me. It sounds very right. Okay, so I need both of you to roll me perception checks.
Gee.
I got a 67 out of 51.
I got a 20 out of 30.
20 out of 30. All right. So, Seamus, do you want to re-roll that?
No.
Okay. All right. That's fine. So, basically, here's what happens. Seamus, you lose consciousness, and that's it. There's just blackness. There's nothing, no dreams, no nothing, no anything. Marius, you feel your mind slip, and you face plant into the mat, and darkness takes your vision. And you also slip into unconsciousness. Your eyes flutter open at some point later. It's bright. It's obviously daylight. You're moving. You can feel a slight breeze. But you can't move your body. You kind of look around you. You're in some kind of cage. Some kind of enclosure.
Oh,
the
shit.
bars appear to be made out of that strange bamboo that you've seen around. Very sturdy stuff.
Stronger than me?
Are you are you feigning sleep, or are you going to actually like sit up and look around?
Do I notice anything if I'm kind of like feigning sleep? Looking around.
It's gonna be up. That's gonna be your choice.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to like. I'm trying to like feign sleep and try to like kind of see what I can see if I hear anything. Or...
So without sitting up, you kind of barely moving your head and kind of looking around. You're in some kind of, we'll call it a wooden structure, and judging by the bumps and kind of nudges that you're getting, you're on some kind of maybe wooden wagon or cart of some kind, moving at a relatively slow pace, not a very fast-moving vehicle of some kind that you're in. You, without looking around, you can feel now. You're starting to get some feeling into your limbs. As you glance down, you can see that Seamus is towards the back of this wagon. This wagon is about 10 feet long, from what you can tell. Made out of wood, a very sturdy wood. Likewise enclosed in a cage of bamboo. There's also another figure.
He's in a separate cage?
No, this is all one big cage.
Okay.
There's also another figure in front of you. Laid out.
In the cage?
In the cage with you. Now, in addition to this,
talking?
no one's talking. That's all you can see just laying here. If you sit up, you might be able to see more. Now, what you do notice, though, Marius, Seamus is unconscious. He has not come to yet.
Dumb bastard.
You don't feel... You don't feel your weapons. You don't feel your armor. You do, however, have your cloak still about you. Your dragon skin cloak. You are wearing your clothes. You do not have your shoes on. There are no shoes. And around your ankle, you feel a shackle. Cold steel touching your ankle.
Son of a bitch.
As you glance down, you recognize this shackle immediately. It is of the same make and texture as the shackle you saw around Seamus's foot the first time you met him.
These bastards are gonna kill us after we save their women. All right. I'm gonna try to maybe not. I'm gonna try to slowly get up. Do I have my faculties right now? Am I awake?
You're starting to get the like warmth back in your limbs, and the effects of the poison are wearing off you. Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna try to slowly move ever so slowly up to see if to see more things.
As you go to move up, you hear a whisper. Sit your ass back down.
Ooh, is it in English? Is it in?
It's in Reichspiel. Yes.
Reichspiel.
And you recognize the voice immediately.
Who is it?
It sounds exactly like the elf you chased on the beach to try to kill.
A bastard.
It's coming from within the wagon with you. In fact, it's the figure in front of you. He's not moving. You also, at this point, you glancing over at him specifically, you see that he is still wearing his armor, or most pieces of his armor that are left, and he has his cloak kind of wrapped around his face, kind of draped over his face, almost like he's not conscious. But he appears to be able to kind of sense that you're awake and moving. You'll get us all killed.
I kind of lay back down slowly, and kind of keep my eye on him.
Okay. He also, likewise, is not wearing shoes. He has no boots on. And there is a shackle on his foot. And the links of this shackle lead back to yours. And then the links from yours lead back to Seamus's. You all three have been shackled together.
Damn it. I try to... And I don't see like the wagon rider in front of us.
So without sitting up, the front of the wagon actually is completely a solid piece of like multiple pieces of bamboo laced together. So you can't actually see the rider or the driver at the front. Now the tops and the sides and the back are open. Well, they're still caged, but there's enough space in between them that you can see around easily. If you were to sit up.
Can I like touch the cage, the bamboo cage?
With what? Your feet? Your hands?
My hand.
Okay. You reach out with your hand, and yes, you can get a firm grasp. Are you reaching above you?
I don't know. I kind of pictured it just kind of to the side of me.
Okay. Yeah. You get a hold. Yeah, you can get a hold of it. It's very firm. It's linked in there pretty good.
Can I test it? Yeah, I'm not. When I say test it, like kind of like give it a squeeze
Okay.
See if I feel like I can break it.
All right. Give me a strength check.
Okay. It's a 34 out of 55.
Okay, 34. All right. So you give it a squeeze, and that is 2 levels of success. All
Two
right.
levels. Yeah.
So you give it a squeeze, and you feel a little, just a slight budge, not much at all. This is a very stout cage, but you do feel just a little bit of a give, just a little bit. You get the idea that if you really, really, really pulled on this, you might be able to rip some of this bamboo out of place. Of course, being Marius Wolf, that is.
Yeah. I'm just going to chill there, I think, then, for a little bit.
Okay.
Kind of feigning sleep.
Yep. At this point, Seamus, you awaken. You feel your senses come back to you. You are no longer on the floor. You are definitely not in the arms of a woman or draped across one. And your head hurts really, really, really bad.
Probably start to... Am I like laying on my back or am I laying on my stomach?
You are laying on your back.
I imagine just like waking up, I'd probably start to move my arm, like to touch my head.
Okay, so the movement is starting to come back to you. All your motor skills are coming back into place. You reach up to touch your head, and you also, similar to Marius, notice that you're not wearing shoes, and that you are once again shackled in a very familiar place.
Having a little flashback there, remembering this moment.
Oh yes, definitely.
Probably say, "Oh fuck." Let's kind of turn my head over and see if anybody else is in the cage with me.
Yep, and you see Marius and another figure above you, like in front of you, in front of the wagon.
Can I tell if they're awake yet?
Make me a perception check.
Oof. That's a 96. I'll burn my other fortune point.
Okay.
27 out of 51.
Okay, all right. So you can tell that Marius, first off, you see his arm kind of casually reach out and grasp the bar next to him, one of the various, not bars, but the wooden, well, they're wooden bars made out of bamboo that interlace this cage that you found yourself in the back of this wagon. And so you get the firm idea that he's awake. The other character, you hear just a faint noise. And that's when you hear Marius, you see Marius kind of stiffen up a little bit, and you get the idea that this figure's also probably awake at the moment, though they both appear to be pretending to not be.
Am I within like arm's reach of Marius?
Yes, you are easily within arm's reach of Marius if you'd like to be.
I'll probably try to like move my arm and like hit him in the foot or something. See if he knows I'm awake now.
So you nudge him, and Marius, you obviously know that that Seamus is definitely awake at this point.
I kind of signal him with a signal to be quiet.
Oh. Then Seamus will just lay there on his back, staring up at the sky or the top of his cage.
Yep, you have a great view of the sky of the glorious land of Nippon that you've so enjoyed thus far.
So glorious.
It's now it is dotted. You are in the forest, the very lush, thick forest that you traverse through several days worth at least. You have no idea what direction you're going in. You have no idea where the hell you're at. You know that you're in the forest somehow, some way. You are no longer in the village that you had found yourself in. You both do recover. I'm going to give this to you. You'll both recover your toughness bonus and wounds. You don't know how long has passed. I know how long has passed. But you both will at least get that as a kind of pseudo rest. Not a full restful rest, but a decent rest. Of blackness and nothingness. You notice, you hear the kind of back and forth of voices around you. Without sitting up, you don't know how many figures may be with you, how many people, you don't know. But you do hear the language of the men of Nippon. You are certainly one of their their captives at this point, and on your way, you do not know where. Several hours passed of the slow trudging of you in the back of this cart. Of nothing. Nothing important happens whatsoever. It's relatively quiet outside of a couple small conversations happening briefly here and there. Are you guys still feigning tiredness?
Probably I am. I've been here before.
Okay. Marius?
I'd probably do the same.
Okay. You both stay still as best you can. And you're getting used to being able to just stand still at this point after doing this for at least a day before. Maybe more. You're not sure. The elf is likewise doing the same, the Corsair that's with you. He's barely moving at all, if even. And you hear a bit of a scratching sound a few hours later coming from under his cloak. You're not sure what it is exactly, but you hear just a scratching sound.
I assume he's got some type of file or something he's sawing at the bamboo.
Marius might be able to figure that out, maybe not, but regardless, you hear something. Then, a few more hours passed, and night is falling on this glorious, glorious land that you found yourselves in. And the cart finally stops. Finally comes to a stop, kind of jolts a little bit, kind of shudders. And you hear more orders being barked out, this time from the head of the cart, whoever's driving the cart. And you feel the wagon being pulled into the tree line. And you guys are inside of the actual forest at this point. You're off a whatever path that you were on in the forest, and you smell and can see the light of a large fire being built nearby. What would you guys like to do?
Do I hear them close to us, or are they kind of a little bit far away?
They're not very far away. You can hear the voices of people. They're probably 15, 20 feet away, maybe, as best you can tell.
I'm gonna if I'm kind of positioned on one of the sides of this cage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try to, if kind of like scoot over to the edge of it and like try to like squeeze some of the bamboo like slowly to try to wear it down.
Okay.
Like,
all right, make me a strength check, sir.
Okay. That is going to be a 23 out of 55.
Okay. All right. So 23. Okay, 3 levels of success. So, are you doing this with 2 hands? Like, are you doing 2 bars, or are you just doing the same bar you did earlier?
Yeah, kind of the same bar I did earlier. Just kind of with one hand, not to be super obvious, but just trying to wear the,
so you
the wood down.
You feel it give way even more this time, and you're definitely making progress. You get the idea that this specific piece of the cage now is weakened to a point that with maybe one or two more good tugs, you might be able to just rip this out of place. And you'll have a gap that you might be able to squeeze through. It'll be a tight squeeze, though. If you loosened another bar, it would be an easy enough hole that you could easily slip through without making a check in game terms.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep working on it as long as you let me.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So that's the test we'll get for right there. Seamus, are you doing anything?
I imagine at some point in this trip, I'd probably try to like reach around like my waistband, see if I have any gear on me.
You start patting yourself down. Let's roll for luck. Roll me a D10, sir.
All right. 6.
A 6. So let's see here. A 6. You find some lint in your pockets.
That'll help.
And that's it. That's all you find. So you have nothing on you. Absolutely
my dagger.
Nothing. Dagger is not with you.
Shadowblade.
Shadowblade. Oh no. The elf with you at this point. After about an hour or two, you hear the kind of scratching noise pick up once or twice and then stop. And deep into the night, well after the fires kind of died down, Marius and Seamus, are you guys going to sleep, or are you still kind of on high alert?
I might try one more time to kind of wear down the cage a little.
Bars, the cage.
And I might try if I feel like other people are asleep. If I feel like the guards are asleep, I might be trying with both hands.
Okay. So you go to reach both hands up, and the elf kind of kicks you real quick.
All right. Then I slowly pull one hand back and just stay with one arm.
Okay. All right. And as you do, go ahead and make me a perception check.
Okay. Ooh, that's a 3 out of 30.
Okay, so despite the low light and the darkness of the forest around you, after he kicks you, it kind of jars you, you look around, still laying down, and you see a figure in a tree nearby. You can tell it's a humanoid shape, but you can't tell what they're wearing. It almost like it blends in with the darkness, and you get the idea that somebody or something is watching you.
Okay.
And probably has been watching you for quite some time.
Damn. All right. Well. All right, then I won't be trying to squeeze the fire anymore, I guess.
Okay. All right, so you kind of put your hands down, and you hear the elf. You can keep doing what you're doing, but be careful. Don't you dare get me killed in this godforsaken place.
I don't say anything to him, and I just grip the bar and just with one hand and start wearing it down again.
Okay. And that is going to be it. Are you guys going to sleep?
Yeah, I imagine I'd probably be falling in and out of sleep, just laying there.
I will also note, you guys have not had any food or drink today.
Mm-hmm.
True. I'll probably try to rest up as well.
Okay. All right.
Just to try to conserve energy, I guess.
All right. So you both drift to sleep. Not so much a drift. It comes in sporadic moments. You get some sleep, you wake up. It's very uncomfortable being in this wooden cart. There is no bedding of any kind in here. There's also no place to use the bathroom, so you guys may have soiled yourself once or twice already at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very pleasant aroma. The elf especially seems to be extremely upset at the stench wafting off of the humans in the cage with him. You guys make it through the entire night with little happening. Then morning comes. You both are jarred awake as the cart is hitched to whatever animal is pulling it and brought back out onto the path and continues moving.
Still.
You will, both of you, go ahead and roll me that endurance test to see if you regain a good night's rest or not.
I got a 35 out of 55.
35 out of 55, okay. How about you, Marius?
I got 43 out of 60.
Okay, so you guys both get your toughness bonus plus your success levels in wounds back.
All right.
So you both recuperate somewhat from the events that have transpired. And the day is once again yours. What would you guys like to do?
Starting to work on that bar.
Go ahead and make me a strength check. Seamus, what are you doing in this moment?
Just laying there.
Just laying there. That sounds really boring. Okay, then. Go ahead and make me that check, Marius.
I got a 6 out of 55.
Okay, all right. So this time you feel a crunch underneath your hand. You've been trying to subtly squeeze this thing, and you feel like the bar has finally given way. It's barely held together at this point. If you remove your hand, or if this thing hits a hard bump, the bar might just slide out of place.
Okay. I'm going to keep my hand on it, I guess. Try to keep it in place, you know?
You keep your hand on it, and you hear more talking in the Nipponese language nearby. And then you hear like an alarm, like, oh. And then you feel the smack of wood on your fingers gripping the bar. As someone has just smacked your hand with their weapon to get you to release the cage.
Okay. Does it hurt enough to where I guess I'd probably do it?
You go ahead and make me an endurance test to see if you can hold on to this without flinching.
Okay. That's 42 out of 60.
Okay, so you don't move your hand. You just take it.
Okay.
And then you hear another cry out. And then another smack across your knuckles.
Oh, gee.
Make me an endurance test at minus 20.
Oh, gee. Oh, boy. That's going to be a 13 out of 40.
So your knuckles are now red and throbbing, and you don't release the bar. And then you hear just a cry out. And at this point, the wagon stops. And you can feel the movement of whatever weapon is about to be brought down across your knuckles. And then suddenly, it doesn't happen. You hear shouts of alarm coming from around you. What are you guys doing?
I'm getting ready to bust out of this cage.
All right,
I'm about ready to
Seamus.
put all my strength into shoving this cage open if I can.
Okay. Seamus, what are you doing?
I guess I'd be also just kind of aware, hearing those like slapping noises. Just kind of on alert, I guess.
Okay. The elf at this point in time throws the cloak from around him and sits up and starts looking around, and his eyes go wide with terror. He's like,
Oh, gee.
he said, "By the gods!" And I need all of you to roll me initiative, please.
Oh,
Oh
shit.
boy.
Weaponless initiative. This is what I see.
Yes. Yes.
I'm at 8.
Oh, that's a low number.
Okay. Let me get all this in here. So Marius is at an 8. How about you, Seamus?
Correct.
I got a 5.
Seamus is at a 5. All right. Okay. Let's see how this goes, boys. Let's see how this goes.
Oh, gee.
So, Marius, you see the elf sit up. He gets to go before you. The elf sits up, and you see blood trickling from his right wrist, and he scratches at it with his left hand and pulls out a sliver of metal and jams it into the locking mechanism at his ankle of whatever kind of primitive lock that they have shackled you guys together with. He's trying to open the shackles in some way. It doesn't look very effective. In fact, the piece of filed metal that he has been honing snaps in two inside the lock, and he just looks wide-eyed, like slack-jawed, like this can't be happening. And he starts kind of backing towards the front of the wagon, putting his back against the wall, as with his eyes still wide in terror, looking around. And he can't get that far, however, because he gets about 4 feet from you, and his leg is drawn taut as his shackle draws tight, as the links will not allow either of you to get within 4 feet of each other without the lines being drawn taut. So that's all he can do, and he just kind of is glancing around and looks very perturbed at what the scene that is unfolding around him. So, Marius, it is now your turn, sir.
All right. I kind of look up as well now since he's looked up, see what's going on.
All right. So, what you see is you glance up, and there's definitely a lot of commotion around you. You're still within the forest. You're within the wagon. You see the Nipponese men, the soldiers, in fact. In fact, these are not the same men from the village. You recognize most of the faces. Well, you don't recognize any of the faces, in fact. They're not covered. However, there appears to be a similar garb, the wooden kind of plates and pauldrons and things like that. Most of them are wielding spears. A few of them have bows and arrows. And they all are wearing masks. of some kind. Most of them look like the red masks that you've seen Seamus wear in the past, with the kind of snarling, rodent-like face on it. You see a total of 6 men in your immediate vicinity, 6 men of Nippon. You also see 8 other figures that appear to be assaulting them. Now, this is what you can see from the back of the cage as you kind of sit up. And the figures assaulting them are much larger than them. In fact, they're about the size of Seamus. They're on that kind of stature. Around the, 6 foot to 7 foot range. You see primitive but very well crafted, almost like leather tanned hides and almost leather pieces of armor on humanoid shapes, but very muscular humanoid forms. They have cloven hooves at the base of their feet as you see them stomping around in the brush as they're fighting these men. You also see in their hands, they appear to have curved, almost like scimitar, like swords in their hands. Some of them have axes, a few of them have crude maces. Though they should be cruder weapons from your experience with these creatures. But these are certainly beastmen of some kind, assaulting these men of Nippon. But, however, unlike the beastmen of the Empire, the ones you see before you have the faces of jungle cats. You see lions, you see tigers. You see one that has the face of a jaguar with spots, blackened spots across its golden kind of matted fur face. And all of their faces are drawn into these kind of open howls and thirsting for blood of these distended tongues dripping from their mouths. And they're also, you see that some of them in fact have curling horns on the side of their head, despite them being cat-like in origin.
Sounds splendid.
It does sound splendid indeed.
So the Nipponese men are in full combat.
They're in full combat right now. No one is paying attention to the cage, as far as you know.
Okay. So this is happening real quickly. I'll be like, Seamus. I look at Seamus. It's time to get out of here. And I look at the elf and I go, fucker, get up. And I yank him with my leg.
Okay. You yank him. And he just kind of snarls at you, but he's coming with you.
And I'm trying to break out of his cage with all I can.
All right, give me a strength check, sir.
All right. That's a 26 out of 55.
Okay, so you easily, with the work that you've put in place beforehand, you easily snap through that bar, and the bar next to it is weakened enough that you're able to pull it as hard as you can, and it snaps off at the end, and you have a decent-sized hole that you think you can push your way through.
All right. Is that my turn?
That is your turn, unless you want to attempt to move.
I probably wouldn't move just right then. Just
okay.
Probably snap out of it and kind of step away in case Seamus wants to go through.
Okay. Seamus, it is your turn.
Seamus will go through after hearing Marius's call.
Okay.
And seen him snap that bar.
So Seamus, you, after you see him pull the bar into the cage with him, breaks off. There's 2 large pieces of wood that he has in his hand now. You push your way through the hole that he's created easily enough. It's large enough for you to slip through, despite your stature. You collapse down to the floor, It's not a very tall wagon. There's maybe 2-3 feet, but enough to where you kind of hunker down for a second. Are you standing, or are you going to try to like take shelter under the wagon?
I'll probably like jump, however far I can get, like jump down and like crouch up next to it.
You get down out of the wagon, and you get about 2 feet from it, and the shackle on your leg draws tight as it pulls Marius towards the hole at this point, as you have reached the length of chain interposed between the three of you. Now, around you, what you can see immediately in front of you, maybe 3 feet from you, in fact, is one of the Nipponese soldiers is currently fighting two beastmen, and they look bloodthirsty, and they're about your size, in fact. One of them takes his sword and goes low and carves through his leg. And he kind of goes slack for a second, but then he thrusts the spear through the second one, takes it under the jaw, killing it, in fact. But the other one draws back its sword again and plunges it through his throat. And you just hear this gurgling sound as he slides off the blade, dead. And it looks at you as it sees fresh meat, seemingly defenseless, or fresh meat before it.
That's Marius, hurry the fuck up.
All right, that is the end of Seamus's turn then. All right, now it's the elf's turn. And the elf shoves past you, Marius, and gracefully, nimbly jumps out of the wagon, and looks like he's trying to cover some distance until the chains draw taut, and he once again face plants into the dirt next to Seamus's feet, just unceremoniously. Boom! And he's like, ugh! And he pushes up onto his feet. Come on! And he grabs a hold of the chain and tries to yank you through the hole, Marius. Do you want to let it happen?
No.
No, so you're just going to hold taut?
I mean, I'm not going to let him, like, pull me through and, like, make myself fall down. No.
Okay, well, make me a strike check then.
It's 41 out of 55.
You're not going to like this.
He's going to overpower me?
I rolled a critical success with my Dark Elf Corsair, which is not a very strong individual, but in this moment, he is strong. And he grabs a hold of the chain and just, with both hands, just with all his strength, yanks and pulls your large stout form through the hole, unceremoniously back, hitting the floor, knocking the wind out of your lungs. And he looks around. We have to get out of here. And he locks eyes with the beastman and kind of opens his mouth and snarls at him. And the beastman doesn't seem concerned, as now instead of one tasty morsel, there are 3 tasty morsels in front of him.
Oh.
All right. And that is pretty much all he can do, because he used his action to pull you through the hole. So, Marius, it is now your turn.
I guess I'll get up. Does the chain feel like I could break it?
You can try. You go ahead and make an intuition test. Make me an intuition test.
Okay. Oh, no. Critical fail. I got a 55 out of something small. 24.
I mean, yeah, you're Marius Wolf. You're strong as hell. You could break anything.
That is true. I guess, I don't know how we're going to do this, like in a turn-based system. How... Because we can only each of us can only move 4 feet at a time.
4 feet. That's all you get. You get 4 feet.
There's no way we're gonna outrun these things.
No, there's not. Go ahead and make me perception check.
All right. 19 out of 30.
Okay, so you quickly glancing around, notice that you can now out of the wagon, out of the cage that you were in. You can see the front of the wagon. There's a horse kicking its feet, and looks like there's a beastman tearing into it as he's ripping the throat out. The rider, the driver, apparently was pulled down, and he's also slaying at its feet. Further on ahead, in front, you see a man on a horse, very similar to the one you got your scroll from. Very similar to the one you found dead at the base of the hangman's tree, Seamus. And it is in full plate, wooden plate armor, a fully kitted out samurai of some kind with a large sword held back and forth, and he is driving it down and slaying beastmen left and right around him. In fact, they've starting to give him a wide berth, and they're focusing on the less fortunate members that happen to be on foot. And it looks like the general might be about to cut and run at some point. But you see that. You also see that in front of the wagon, in front of the cage, behind the dying horse now, and next to two more beastmen, you see a familiar glint of a certain weapon. A pick.
A pick?
And you also see attached to it all of your belongings are in the wagon with it. They are about 5 feet from you, just out of reach.
Of course they are. Yeah, I'm gonna make my way towards our equipment.
Okay, so you've seen it.
And,
yeah. So you see your equipment and you start lunging for it. Got it. All right, you make your 4 feet, and it's just barely out of reach. Barely there.
Can I try to pull these guys with me?
You can. Go ahead and make me a strength check.
All right. That is going to be a 50 out of 55.
Okay, all right. Seamus, do you want to oppose this, or are you just going to let it happen?
I'm going to let it happen, so I hear him shout.
Okay, you hear him shout, and in fact, you probably just kind of give him the leeway to kind of movement, and I'll say you still have more movement left in your turn previously. So as he pulls you, I'll let you guys kind of move together, if that makes any sense. If you guys are all in unison.
Yeah.
So you make the movements with him, Seamus. The elf, however, is doesn't understand what the fuck you guys are doing. He's trying to get out of Dodge. So you do, however, catch him and kind of just drag him with you as you reach your equipment in the back of this this wagon. It's going to take going to take an action to get all of your stuff.
Okay.
I will allow you a free action to just grab the pick if you'd like.
I will do so.
Okay, so with your free action, you reach up, grab a hold of the pick, pull it out, and you at least have something to defend yourself with at the moment.
Okay.
And that is the end of your turn. So, Seamus, it is now yours.
Alright, so I'll get a free action to grab my crossbow.
Yep, you run up, and you have to rummage. Your stuff is on the other side of the wagon. So you're actually going to have to climb up on top of this wagon to get to your stuff.
Damn it. Alright.
I need you to make me an athletics check, sir. I'll give you plus 20 on this.
All right.
Because it's not like a difficult climb or anything.
That is a 2. And the plus 20 would make it a 47.
Oh, yeah. Easily scramble up with just enough slack in the chain to allow you to get to your belongings. And you actually have an elevated position. You're about 3 feet above everyone else, so you have a good lay of the land around you. You can see that there's dense forest on each side of you at this point, and you guys are actually in the mountains. You kind of recognize a little bit of where you're at. You are moving in the direction away from the beach, almost towards the very, very large central mountain that you saw when you first arrived. But it appears like this path doesn't quite weave up the mountain. It kind of looks like it weaves down and goes towards the base of the mountain somewhere. But so you have a good view of where you're at right now, and you can easily see that there are men dropping left and right from your captors, being slain by these fanatical beastmen, and they are feasting on the corpses, seemingly distracted as they murder them, but that can only last so long, as there is much fresher meat to be had, yours included. So with a bonus action, you can easily snatch up your crossbow. Do you want to get the rest of your equipment?
Yes. Well, I'll just get the crossbow right now, I guess.
Okay, you have your crossbow. Do you remember how many bolts were in it before you lost all of your stuff?
I think I had 1 or 2 in there.
I believe you had... I want to say you had 2 left. So it currently only has 2 bolts in it, and you don't have any to reload without getting the rest of your equipment. So keep that in mind.
All right.
Would you like to do anything with your action?
Yeah, I will take a shot at that beastman that's in front of us.
The one on your side that you saw when you came out of the gate?
Yes.
Okay. From your elevated position, I'll give you a +10 to this roll.
Yeah.
So go ahead and give me a shot.
Right. Oh yeah, that is a 6 out of 66.
Out of 66. Ooh, nice. Real good. Okay. So the bolt, you hammer back, you string the bolt to get it ready to go, and just unleash at this beastman, hitting him square in the chest, like usual. This one, it cuts in deep, so that is 5 levels of success, 14 points of damage. Let's see here. He's still up. He looks very hurt. It digs in deep, and you hear not a bray, but more of like a whine come out of his feline-like mouth, and he just glares up daggers at you. As now he's locked eyes with you, but however, Marius Wolf is interposed between the two of you, so he'll at least have to get through him to get to you.
Per usual.
Is that going to be the end of your turn, sir?
It will be. Good guy, Marius.
Okay. All right, that is the end of Seamus's turn. So this brings us to the Beastmen. The only one there's only one has noticed you so far, and it is the one that Seamus just shot in the chest. With the bolt still sticking out of his chest, it makes just this horrendous, almost human-like growl towards you, Marius, and lunges in your direction with its scimitar raised high, attempting to remove the flesh from your body. I'll need you to roll defense, sir.
All right. It's a 50 out of 45.
Do you want to re-roll that?
You can't tell me if I roll if I change it to success, right?
How it was a 50 out of 45?
Yeah. So if
it's up to you. You can either re-roll or you can make it just a success. It's up to you.
Oh gosh. I'll re-roll.
Okay, go ahead and re-roll it.
Much better. It's going to be a 6 out of 45.
Okay, so the Beastman lunges at you, closing the distance, and brings the scimitar like it's going for your right arm. It's careening in your direction. You take the pick, and it looks like you're not going to be there in time. And at the last second, you just get a little bit burst of that natural fighter instinct that you're starting to pick up after so many adventures and so many scrapes with death. And you bring the pick in the way and knock aside the flat of the blade, leaving the beastman open for a counterattack upon your turn. And he just kind of, still with bloodlust in his eyes, is going to, you get the idea that he's still going to attempt to kill you. But you have fended off the blow, so you have 1 point of advantage, sir.
All right.
All right. That is the end of his turn. The rest of the beastmen, let's see how they do. The men are not faring too well. Seamus, from your perspective, you see 2 more men behind you guys at the base of the cage fall dead. They're probably about 15 feet from you, as 2 more beastmen rip them to pieces, limb from limb. One of them pulls out one of the men's arms as he knocks his spear aside and just pulls the arm out of socket. And there's just blood and gore and muscle straining from the wound as the man falls down screaming, dying. The other one just gets a scimitar through the gut and just kind of slides down on the blade as the kind of lion-faced beastman digs into his throat with its jaws and rips it out and begins eating him alive. So you get to see that happen. If you glance over at the samurai, the other beastmen aren't approaching him now. They're kind of giving him a wide berth. And it looks like he sees the 2 of you, makes eye contact with you, Seamus, points his sword at you, and then looks over at one of the remaining men next to him that have been helping defend him. You see 3 more soldiers, more samurai kind of soldiers at his feet with spears. He looks over at one in particular and gives him a nod, and then he turns his horse around and begins fleeing in the direction that you guys were heading.
Coward.
All right, that is what you see. So now it is the elf's turn. The elf, in this moment of desperation, is looking around, and he is going to... All right, Seamus, I need you to roll a defense.
All right.
Or a dodge. It's up to you.
Yeah, it'll probably be a dodge. That is a 24 out of 27.
All right. So, you see the elf lunge for you, Seamus, up over and he's very agile. He kind of hops up to the wagon easily, gingerly. I need this. And he slips his arm into your pack without you being able to stop him and draws out the shadow blade. And one clean movement.
The shadow blade.
And then he lunges down to the beastmen.
Okay. Whew.
And plants it into the top of its skull. You see its features go slack as the eyes roll up to the whites, and it just falls dead at his feet. We have to go!
Ooh.
And he is moving in the direction into the woods across from you guys into the dense forest. That is his turn.
All right.
Marius, it is your turn.
I would like to take the pick and see if I can crack it on the chains
Okay.
between us.
That's fine. You're not going to grab your stuff. I need to... This is important.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make me a weapon attack because it is being pulled and maneuvered in several directions right now.
Okay. Can I add my advantage?
Yeah, you can use your momentum.
Okay. That's a 30 out of 55.
And with your
I don't know
pick,
if that
that
counts
is
as a
a critical success. How many levels of success total is that?
That would be 2 levels of success.
2 levels of success. Now, your pick is not armor piercing. You need to take that into account. How much damage do you normally do?
10.
So, Jesus. So that's 12 damage total? Did I do the math right? Or is it 13?
Yeah. 12.
12 damage. 12 damage total. You see a little bit of the metal warp, but it's not broken. Even with a critical success.
Oh, damn it.
It's not. It's even with the critical success. This is a very hardy, possibly magical material. You're not sure exactly. Now you did, however, manage to snap it off of Seamus, so you know there is something that you might be able to do to get this off. There was some way, somehow, you managed to get it off of Seamus's ankle, but from what you just did, you get the idea that if you did this enough, you would eventually break it, but you might not have the time in the moment.
Okay.
Okay, so would you like to do anything else? You still have your free action, and then your movement.
I can't grab my pack with my free action.
You gotta have a full action to grab your pack.
Okay. Then I'm probably just going to stay close to Seamus.
Okay. That is the end of Marius's turn. Seamus, it is your turn.
I'll use my action to grab my pack. I assume I can't grab. I assume I can't grab both.
You can grab your pack, and with your free action, I'll let you kind of get ready to toss it to Marius, if you'd like. But it's going to negate your movement.
I know.
And then he won't have to use an action to take it, essentially.
Yeah, I'll just grab my pack and then jump down to start moving.
Okay, you jump down and you start moving in the direction of the elf. It grows taut as Marius is standing by the wagon still. Are you going to go with them, Marius?
I go anywhere without my pack.
Okay, all right, so you stand firm. So unless you want to press the issue, Seamus, Marius isn't moving from the wagon currently.
I was like, Marius, we got to go before they kill us.
All right.
Not without the scroll. And
oh yeah.
So I'm not going anywhere for that scroll.
Okay, all right. Do you want to make a strength check, Seamus, or you want to just leave it at that?
I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, all right. So that's the end of Seamus's turn. Now the Beastmen's turn. The 2 Beastmen that are feasting on their kills lock eyes with you now, Marius. Seeing you standing firm and seeing you tethered to 2 more tasty morsels, are going to sprint in your direction. Since you did not make an attack, you have lost your momentum for this round.
I feel like I made a critical success.
You did. You know what? You're right. You're right. You know what? That is true. That is true. You made it.
I mean,
I'll let you keep. I'll let you keep your momentum. I'll let you keep the momentum.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. I listen. I listen. It's fine. It's fine. We'll see how long it lasts. Regardless, the one with the lion face jumps up, not gracefully, just very primally jumps up on top of the cage. Looks like he has a kind of crude shaped axe, though it still appears to be more masterfully crafted than the Beastman tools you saw in the Empire. But regardless, it is still very much deadly, and he makes a jump, and he plans on bringing the top of this axe on top of your skull, Marius. So go ahead and roll me defense.
Okay. It's pretty good. That's going to be 8 out of 65.
Okay, so he actually does aim for your head, and you bring the pick up and lock the haft of the axe with the shaft of the pick and catch him, and you're strong enough to brace yourself for this 7-foot gargantuan monster of muscle and just lock into place with him and push him up against the wagon, snarling, locked into combat. Likewise, the second beastman, seeing an opening as you're somewhat distracted, is going to attempt to take a swipe at you. So you can either roll me a dodge or another defense with 2 points of advantage.
I'll roll that defense.
All right.
That's gonna be. I don't know if you'll count or not. That's a 20 out of.
This is bullshit.
65.
That is, and with your weapon, that's a critical. God damn it! Why? Why? Why?
Why? Sorry, bro. You know, sometimes.
Let me get the critical table.
You know,
Let me find the critical table again. Okay, roll me a D100.
All right. 10. Double critical.
No, it's not double critical. All right. And roll me one more.
Oh. $41.
All right. Okay, so you seeing this newcomer as you press the beastman against the wagon, you pull back, and he has a crude scimitar, and it looks like he's lunging for your leg, and you bring the butt of the pick down onto his hand before it actually gets into range, and you do it with such force that you can visibly see the arm wrench out of socket and the blade fall from his grasp as he just bleats in pain as this kind of tiger-skinned beastman clutches at his now ruined shoulder. How many success levels is that for you?
Or that'd be 4 success levels.
So 14 damage. Okay. And it just does it.
Well, question.
Yes.
If I roll a 0, is that 10 levels of success?
No, that is 0 levels of success.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
So you don't want to do that.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Then it's 4.
Yeah. So yeah, 4 levels of success. But it's a critical hit, so it bypasses toughness and armor. So you jar his arm out of socket, and you see his blade go limp, and you just see his eyes just glaze over, and he falls down onto his side, clutching his arm, and appears to be incapacitated and not moving, and possibly dying soon, as something vital may have torn inside of his body somewhere when his arm was displaced. Yeah, so go ahead.
Can I look at the lion beastman?
Yeah, you lock eyes with him,
and just kind of grin at him.
and you see fear, definite fear across the eyes of this beastman, as he was not expecting this from such a small creature. Yeah, so that happened. Okay, then with that, it's the end of the beastman's turn. Now it is the men of Napon's turn. Seamus, are you still keeping an eye out after all this is transpiring?
Yeah, I imagine I see all this happening in front of me.
Okay. You look over to your
around.
left towards the front of the wagon where you saw the men with the samurai, with the actual one on the horse. And you see one of the soldiers reach under his coat. And actually, he has he's unusual from the rest of the soldiers. He kind of has a strange, almost like a hide coat on compared to the rest of them, where the rest of them had just the standard kind of wooden pauldrons and everything like that. And he reaches under and throws the coat off of his body. And you see several cylinders strapped to his chest on like what appears to be some kind of bandolier. And he takes something in his hand and starts screaming at the top of his lungs and running towards your direction. The bandolier, these cylinders, have small pieces of, looks like thread sticking out of the top of them. And they all ignite simultaneously at a single thread where they're laced together, as whatever he has in his hand ignites the tip, and he is now running in your direction. He doesn't get to you. He gets to the now dead horse and the couple beastmen that are butchering it, who then kind of turn on him. But that is the furthest of his movement. The other soldiers are still locked in combat now as more beastmen enclose on them. And that's all that they can do. Go ahead and make me an intuition test, Seamus. Marius is locked in combat and does not see this.
Intuition. That is an 84 out of 41.
Okay, do you want to re-roll?
Yeah, I got one more point left before this one. That's a 65 out of 41.
Okay, so it's a weird maneuver. You have no fucking idea what he's doing. You don't know what that is. There's something not right with it, and it makes you uncomfortable with his actions because he doesn't appear to be defending himself. He's just running, screaming at the top of his lungs in your direction.
Mm-hmm.
And he's covered about half the distance.
Mm-hmm.
So it is now the elf's turn. And the elf, seeing Marius locked into combat, takes the shadow blade, as it's now called.
Yeah.
And he throws it at the beastman with advantage. And it easily slides into the beastman's right shoulder, digs in deep, almost to the hilt of the blade, and the tiger-faced beastman just shouts, just a big roar out, and you see gouts of blood start pouring from the wound. But the shadow dagger is implanted in this beastman's flesh now. And he's like, come on, let's go! And he starts pulling further into the woods. He actually makes it into just a step into the tree line before his feet get caught again. And this time he's going to make a strength check to try to rip you to him, Marius.
All right.
Go ahead and roll a strength check against him.
That's an 11.
Okay, so you stand firm despite all odds. He pulls and he just goes taut again. He's like, damn it! Come now! And he's looking very shifty around at everyone else around him. That's the end of his turn. So, Marius, it is now your turn.
I am going to grab my pack.
Okay, it takes an action. Well, yep, it takes an action. So you're going to use your action to grab your pack. Go ahead.
Grab my pack.
Easily, with the beastman being distracted with the now dagger stuck in his shoulder, you can slip in, grab your pack, pull it towards you, kind of sling it over your shoulder.
And I will, if I have to, I'll use my momentum to disengage.
Okay, yeah. You burn your momentum, you disengage so he doesn't get an opportunity to lash out at you.
And then I will catch up with the elf.
Okay, so you run to the elf. If you want, you could cover more ground.
Yeah, I'll cover more ground.
If you can convince the rest of them to come with you.
And then I'm like, come on.
The elf wants to go. Seamus, however, I've got a feeling he might not want to go.
That shadow dagger.
Uh, is it my turn?
It is.
Yeah,
It's still Marius's turn. It's up to you.
It's your decision if you want to go or not.
Oh yeah, I'm going.
Okay, so you just got, I'm assuming you just kind of give him a look, and Seamus turns and is moving with you. You can move your full movement into the woods since you're all trying to go in the same direction, trying to do the same thing. It is dense forest. The elf appears to have no problem maneuvering around here, but you two, however, are having issue, especially with the chain. So you cover half the distance, so you get about 10, 15 feet into the woods instead of your full 30 feet of movement. And is that going to be the end of your turn?
Yeah, that's my turn.
Okay. Seamus, it is now your turn. You are 10 to 15, you're about 15 feet into the woods at this point. You can hear the screaming of the beastmen, and you can still hear, even louder than them, the just bellowing roar coming from the crazed look individual with the bandolier. What are you doing?
Are we being chased?
As far as you can tell, you get the idea that the beastmen might pursue you. You have no idea if the men are chasing you or not. You'd have to use your action to make a perception check if you would like to find that out.
Yeah, I'll use my action to do that, because otherwise I'm just going to keep running.
All right, go ahead and make me a perception check.
That is a 45 out of 51.
Okay, so you, even through the dense kind of forest, you get glimpses of what's transpiring on the main road there. And you guys are actually moving up the side of the kind of mountain here. You're going up into the trees, which it appears that maybe some way up there's going to be a break in the tree line, and it'll start getting to that very similar mountainous terrain that you guys are used to from your time in Sealburg, at least. But for now, it is still forest, though moving at a slope upwards. And as you're moving up, you get the idea that the man is attempting to pursue you. The one with the bandolier with the flaming wicks upon them. But he is being interposed by several beastmen and the cart itself. So you don't know if he's going to be able to make it to you, or if he's going to be intercepted by the children of chaos, as it was.
All right, well, that will end my turn, because I'm just going to use the rest of it to move.
Okay, so you guys move a further 15 feet into the woods, if you're all in agreement. The elf is definitely ready to go. So you move another 15 feet. So you are 30 feet into the woods at this point. You look back and you can see the beastman that the dagger is sticking out of, Seamus. He kind of bellows at you and essentially gives you the equivalent of the beastman finger, and then turns on and turns with his like cloven hooves stomping, turns towards the man screaming and just lunges towards him. Shortly after that, you hear just a bellow. You hear some kind of name intoned. It actually hurts your ears to hear this word spoken. All of you, even the elf, kind of clutches his ears and kind of in pain a little bit. And then immediately, Marius, you recognize the sound of a detonation. A bomb rips through behind you guys by the cart, as the man was wearing a kamikaze vest of some kind. And he just detonated amongst everyone. I'm going to need both of you to make me... Ooh. I don't want to do this to you.
You don't have to.
You're going to have to make me athletics checks to see how well we escape this blast.
I rolled a 27 out of 26.
Do you have any fortune left?
I do. I've only used one, I believe.
You can use it to make it a success if you want, or you can
I will
re-roll.
do so. I'll use it to make success.
All right. How about you, Seamus?
I'm going to burn my last fortune points because
Okay.
I didn't take any. I'm out of success levels from earlier.
Okay, go ahead.
That's still bad. That's another 64 out of 27.
All right. So, with one level of success, you feel detonation behind you, and you just feel heat. And you are well outside of the range of the immediate fireball that encompasses the wagon and everything around it. However, you are not outside the range of the shrapnel and everything that comes raining down around it. Marius, with one success level, you only get 2 splinters of wood thrown into your body, specifically into your back as you are fleeing, for a total of 8 points of damage apiece, so a total of 16. But you can subtract your toughness bonus for each shard.
Okay.
So I think that brings you to 6 points. So you take 6 wounds as splinters of wood into your back. Seamus with a pretty bad failure.
Yep.
You take, it looks like, 1 in your left leg, 2 in your back, and 1 in your right shoulder. They are all 8 points apiece. But you can subtract your toughness bonus. You are not wearing your armor yet.
Damn it.
So do the math. 3, 6, 9. I believe that's 12 wounds is what you take.
I said it was, each one was 8 points.
Yep. So, and then you subtract 5 because your toughness bonus is 5, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're looking at 3, 6. Yeah, 12 wounds total.
All right.
So as it rips into you and it hurts bad, it digs. A few of them dig in deep, and you are in severe pain, and you're kind of thrown flat. Marius, you're also thrown flat. The elf doesn't take any damage.
Of course he doesn't.
He nimbly, sensing the explosion, manages to dodge behind a tree, and you just see shards just thump, 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 thump into the tree where he would have been. But he appears unharmed, and he looks down at you and just sneers, and just this kind of smirk on his face. We gotta keep moving. And we are officially out of combat, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sure. No problem.
On that note, I think we're gonna end that right there for the night.
All right.
Yeah. So, oh man, some shit went down.
Of course it is. It's Napone. You know, it sucks.
This does suck. I hate it.
I hate it. So yeah, they had a guy with a kamikaze vest. I don't know who made that guy, but he's in there.
He's in there.
Just be glad that you weren't, I don't know, rummaging for your pack when that happened. It would have been a lot worse. But yeah. So regardless, that was pretty awesome, guys. Did you guys at least have some fun?
I
did.
Okay, good. That's good. I felt like we had a pretty good session.
That party was a lot of fun until I got roofied.
Yeah. That's always a downside, isn't it? Gotta be careful
I
what you
want to kill
drink.
so many people. I want to kill so many people on this island.
So yeah, we'll work out more as to what happened. Similar to what we've been kind of trying to what I've been trying to establish as kind of a norm here. I thoroughly enjoyed the roofing, the both of you. That was a very fun experience for me. That was probably my favorite part of the session. Outside of you being littered with shrapnel, that was pretty good too. I'm not gonna lie, that might be up there. So those might be my two favorite things. But how about you guys? How about you, Mr. Marius?
I guess it's either gonna be the old man getting drunk and falling on his face,
yes, that's pretty good.
or killing the tiger beastman by getting his arm out of socket with a defensive blow.
And with a defensive blow in one strike, just killing your opponent. Yeah, that's impressive, I gotta say. How about you, Mr. Seamus?
My incredible dance moves.
I mean, they were glorious. I'm not gonna lie. You had some great roles during that party, I gotta say. I don't know. I don't know like what.
Everybody.
Yeah, I'm not sure what like elder god you pissed off, but you don't do well on certain skills for some reason. So it's very interesting. At least you don't have any exhaustion right now, so that's an upside.
What is going on with this? What's going on with this place? You know, it's like we save the women, and those very women just apparently try to drug us and capture us.
It's true.
I mean, I don't. The fuck.
You have to. I mean, I guess you might need to interrogate somebody. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. Lost your shadow dagger. It's probably fucking
they
gone.
They don't understand us.
What do you mean they don't understand us? I mean, it's just they're crazy people. I mean,
man,
I don't know.
Well, on that note,
at least we're best friends with a dark elf now, or whatever.
And there you are. You're chained to a dark elf. You know, enemy of my enemy, as it is. Regardless, that is where we're going to end tonight's episode, guys. I'd like to thank all of you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I know we enjoyed it. I know I enjoyed it, at least. I don't know about these guys. We'll see. So we will see you guys next week. As usual, I've been Jumbo Thick. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next episode. Have a good day.